spot to live in New York City.
If you work for the United Nations.
If you're not in... If you are not in...
I live in the United Nations this week.
What's that? So the art district though spot you're saying is Greenpoint. I want to know why is New York nightlife completely migrated to
Brooklyn? I'll be honest with you. This is what I think.
East Williamsburg. Why do you think that is?
It is New York. Like Brooklyn is truly like at the table, and like far be it from me to like not get my spot at the table. You know what I mean? Like
What's your spot? What's this spot?
My spot here, but I'm saying I work with a company called Tech Support, which is like a pivotal, just amazing company. Like they do different venues, they pivot, they are leading like the scene in techno. Not just in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not even. It's just very organic.
So you cover the city, and when you see Brooklyn blowing up, you're just like,
yeah.
Do you think it's
People are going to Brooklyn, right? To genuinely have a good time. Like people go out to nightclubs in the city. Why? So you can see or be seen or get a fucking Instagram of somebody. Or you go to Brooklyn Warehouse parties, yeah, it's a little, dicey, but like people are going there.
You can't go live yet, bro. We'll fix you.
No, I like that. That's by the way, back in the day, it was funny because when
like
I
in the
grew up,
TA, it's like a little dicey, maybe, but like we're up on the VIPs, like the stages and stuff. But I mean, the setup is next level.
So why has there been a mass migration of nightlife from?
It's been going for a couple of years. Now it's like really booming.
more than a couple years. It's been going for like a million years.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but you didn't see it as much before the pandemic. Like before the pandemic, it was like, oh, we're gonna go to Brooklyn. You know what I mean? But what the pandemic definitely did, was show you that people are willing to go anywhere for a good time. Realistically, if you can serve a good enough product, you get what I'm saying? So
you know what I think it is, personally? Back in the day, we used to go to these parties in Bushwick because you could have music, you had high ceilings, and you could actually have space.
Yeah.
So when the city rent on the nightclubs underneath places were still these 25 by 100, you were like this, you were crawling through, and then all of a sudden someone's like, look, if we could do an actual party in East Williamsburg or in Greenpoint where you had volume of space and you could actually hear the music and actually dance or do something, all of a sudden people were like just tired of, like you're saying, the CB scene,
you know? Where you can smoke a nightclub, when everybody can smoke a nightclub, not just having to tip somebody, where you can roll into a nightclub, get fucking burnt by a cigarette, you're like now all you gotta worry about is getting a drink spilled on you, but like, think about that, like, I mean, that's only 10, 12, 15 years out on that.
Yeah.
I also feel like the exclusivity from Manhattan, the One Oak, the Tau Group scene, compared to Brooklyn, Good Room, nowadays, elsewhere, face-off battle. I mean, it's kind of opened up. You wait in line for 30 minutes, and nowadays, and you will guarantee to get
anyways, getting in. There's no exclusivity. If you're willing to fucking pay money to get in, or tip somebody, right? Listen, if you're smart, you just go right up and tip the door guy, and then you're good. Or there's ways to beat the system, and there's everybody gonna get in at this point. There's no fucking exclusivity left in New York City, at least not with the now. But we're on a time where I truly think you're gonna see a major shift in, like, like the next, like every 10 years kind of thing. I'm seeing like these young kids, they don't give a fuck about going to these big nightclubs or these name spots. They'd rather go to low key places.
Oh, really? So you're now saying that it's going to transfer back to
I think it's going to be small places. I think the mega nightclubs aren't going to do that well, especially in New York. I think festivals and shit like that are going to still boom. Like festivals, like people love going to festivals. That's going to continue to flourish. But I think like mainstream nightclubs, it's taking a major hit over the next like a year or two.
Really?
I don't know. There's a couple that are, a couple.
What's up, man?
Thrive, but
maybe I buy a few beers and then we.
I'll call you right after.
Allowed to do that?
Yeah.
You're not.
I have a couple beers.
You guys want
to go? I have a couple beers in my car if you guys want to.
Yeah, I'd like a beer.
Sure, I'll get you. I get you a beer.
Beers in his car.
I do, yeah.
I'll come with you.
There you go.
Enjoy
Sit.
comfortable seat here.
Yeah, grab a seat. The seats are pretty
Eric,
good.
are you a New Yorker as well?
Yeah, I'm right down the street.
No, bread.
Oh, no.
Like, born and bred like a wall, like
West Coast.
He's squinting at me like he knew.
Yeah, because sometimes we can tell.
Are you guys all New Yorkers?
No, I am as well. Like,
Okay.
I was, when me and Amal did an interview, and we were talking, and it went back to like Stuyvesant High School and like Midwood, and like that he was, and it was funny. It's just, he's got that New York flavor to him.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Bronx.
Which part?
All over, originally the Northern Bronx.
Which is changing too.
It is.
I mean, still, I think 3 out of the 8 most deaths or murders still in the Bronx, but now there's a couple spots people are chilling, like at that bottom half, the South Bronx, all
it's
of a
really
sudden,
nice.
people are really.
Around South, it's changing a lot.
By the way, Mount Haven still though, most murders, like still,
Yes.
right? So
It
it's
is.
still, they're all developing there, but still, there's still an element, it takes, it's not,
It's a slow rise, but that tide is definitely coming in.
Where'd you go to high school?
In the Bronx.
Which one?
Originally, I went to Harris Truman.
Not Simon.
No.
That's
They
that's
had to get it
like
that
the
way.
best school in like America.
Bronx Science?
Yeah, isn't it?
Well, there was Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, and Bronx Science.
Bronx
when I
Science
grew
was a
up.
big- was a big
It
deal for a
was
long
big.
time, yeah.
But the
Yeah.
problem was getting there. Take you an hour and a half from anywhere, but if you lived like where he was,
Right.
it was like you take the D train and then you are just stuck forever. Yeah, so imagine 3 hours a day on the train to go to school.
And it's Joshua. And what's your name?
Who called me Reggie?
Reggie.
Roger,
Yeah, Reggie.
where is that from?
I'm good.
Technically,
Yeah, give me the technical.
I think it is Fars from Farsi. So Farsi.
Yeah, John.
Well, it comes from Persian, but I'm not Persian. I'm Indian.
Did Will pick up?
Oh,
Come on, squat.
No,
you think he dipped on you?
no, this is backpacker.
Maybe you went to.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, he would have said that.
Maybe stand for a little while.
You want out there? Come sit. Come sit.
I'll sit on
Okay, sounds good. It'll be like stand.
This is just Monday night, just kind of hanging out. We are in Soho, just relaxing and kind of talking. So there's nothing in particular. It's just like random.
How do you two know each other?
Eric and I have known each other for a little while. We have some sort of like
That's all I'm afraid.
in common.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Are you a prop tech founder?
Yeah.
He's one of the biggest people. Let me blow him up.
Tell me.
When the revolution of technology and real estate, where it was hard assets interfacing with technology, Mr. Sarwa had a company that was absolutely tremendous, competing with WeWork at the time. And then with his lovely luck, something called the pandemic came, and office still has not recovered.
Hey, Will, I have one beer for you. It's just that one right there.
Oh yeah.
But he came hard. He had some incredible.
Yeah, we were the
incredible
global
success
number
with
2
it.
to WeWork. We were in, Will actually was one of my colleagues in the company. We were in 27 cities, 10 countries, 5 million square feet.
What was it called?
Around the world. It was called Notel.
Yeah,
in
I've
New
heard
York,
of
we
it.
actually had 100 locations.
Wow.
Wow.
I guess like 3 years ago at this time. And then COVID was really tough, and we actually preserved all that. But we were acquired at the beginning of 2021 by Newmark, the brokerage.
Oh wow.
How'd that go along? Let the people know.
Jury is still out, I guess I would say.
Is that considered risk capital? Because I remember you were discussing risk capital.
Look, I don't know what the original equity into your deal was and how you structured it, but did you have venture capital?
Yeah.
So the problem, you look at the debt equity stack, right? The least expensive money and the lowest risk is debt, right? And, they'll give you a certain amount of the stack, 50, 60%. The next slug, right? You had to maybe raise capital, family office, however you raised it. But when you go into sort of venture wants these ridiculous returns, right? Because they read about, oh, this guy became a unicorn and that one became a unicorn. Now, Amal is a very sexy man, but he is certainly not. Well, maybe he could be a unicorn, but basically they believe that he would. And the responsibility when you get the type of capital is to explode. There's no like steady growth. They're like, you gotta go. And then it gets, I guess you got to replace that capital with like real estate capital, which is very ROI. So we went from this like, imagine you were that, I forget the name of that game. It's that pickup truck game when you hit the fucking nitrous and then it works, but if like you're too slow, then like you can't jump the thing.
Whippets.
Well, no, I'm all, what game was that?
Oh man, I don't know. But yeah,
So like, you know, you got this venture money, which is like nitrous, and they're talking about, wow, solution, changing the game, you know, you're making offers different. And then you flip that script with, you know, capital that was very much ROI driven, right? So, you know, venture would say, we know the money's coming, but then the new capital's like, show me the money. So whatever ideas you had or whatever is driving returns just get, you know? So it's totally different, totally different way of looking at money. So.
And Eric, you said venture capital expects that exponential growth extremely quickly. What is extremely quickly? Is that a year? Is that 2 years? Is that 3 years? You mentioned blow up.
You know, I would ask the venture capitalist in the room. So I'm all as a ex real estate now venture guy. What returns do you expect, bro?
Well, I mean, I think in venture you just want things to get big. It's not like a specific number, but I think, you know, in real estate, if you make 2 or 3 times your money in 2 or 3 or 4 years, like you're probably happy, and you're thankful actually that you didn't lose your money, right? I mean, like,
you're grateful.
Yeah.
Venture, the game you play is like, let's play for 100, and you're fine if you lose.
And is that higher risk?
Totally, yeah. I mean, because like I think a third or half of the time you just get 0.
High risk, high reward, right?
Yeah, so it's just a little bit of a different calculation. But then, you know, like as Eric is saying, like once the money goes in, you got to play big. Because if I make 100 investments as a venture person, and everyone's playing for 5x, that kind of sucks. I mean, I was trying to get like a couple that go to 100x or 1000x. I'm not playing for a few fives, you know, because when you back people in venture, you back people that are very early, and it doesn't make any sense when you back them.
And how many out of 100 would you expect to hit that 100?
Yeah, what's that metric? That 10%?
Couple. Yeah, maybe 10% do 10x or better. Yeah, maybe 1 out of 10 do 10x or better.
But that's not the sale, by the way. The
How
real
are you looking
sale
at
is
like that? Like what's like getting like what's the key points in like when you're peeling through decks? Like I mean, at that point you're like throwing shit against the wall and like hoping shit can stick, correct? Like I mean, at 10% out of 100, I mean.
That's like SoftBank probably.
What?
No, I
No,
don't think so.
they're good?
Yeah, Rajal, I mean, I'm not the only venture person in the room.
Bring 'em on!
I missed the question.
How many investments have you been part of in venture?
Oh, probably at least like 100.
100.
Oh, wow.
So of those 100,
Yeah.
now these guys want to know the numbers, you know?
Yeah, honestly.
How many zeros so far? How many tens? How many hundreds?
I'd say like a lot of the companies actually don't go to 0 for a while. So I haven't been there long enough. I've been there.
So it's like a slow death.
It's a slow death, and I mean, Amal knows this. It's almost like, you know, there's usually some sort of exit you can get by with. But once you get to a certain point, like Series A, Series B, definitely you're not going to just die. I would say like what you're really hoping for is like almost once you make 100 investments, you want like one of those investments to return all the money that you made.
So that one needs to be 100 times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So everything else is gravy.
And then the rest is great. And the way you look at it is like over a 5-year period, did I make like 20% year on year? Then you did pretty good.
Really low.
20% year on year. It's only like 2 to 3 times your original money.
Yeah.
So if you put
No, I understand it's an IRR,
Yeah,
but if you
yeah.
can get to
Yeah.
fund capital 18 to 22% IRR over 5 years, that's what they're looking for. That is the return, right?
That's the return, exactly. That's what people
But it's a
invest-
different mix because there's other ways to make 18 to 22%, right? I mean, you can do it with lower risk stuff. Where
What?
most of your 100
What lower
deals,
risk stuff?
well, I mean, real estate's not going to give you zeros as much. As
No,
venture.
you're not going to get the same 0, but the 18 to 22, they're still trying to achieve the same metric. Both types of capital.
18 to 22.
Yeah, they
Can you
do.
expand on that?
Internal rate of return, right? So it's a calculation that's saying when you put money into something, you look at it on a timeline as a negative number, minus 100 million. Then year 1, you know, are you still minus 100, minus 100, minus 100, minus 100? Then year 5 plus, you know, a billion, and then it's a calculation of a rate of return. So each year, if you average those years and then this pop, and you divide it by your original investment, what was that internal rate of return annually? Even though it was negative, pop, when you divide it back across the entire time, it was like, what was the percent return annually?
Well, like here's a really good like math hack. 12% per year times 6 years will double your money. So if you had 100 and it grew at 12%, after 6 years it's double. Cool.
200.
It's 200.
God,
So-
that's that public school right there. It's not Stuyvesant, okay? It's not Stein. That's Midwood.
He went to he went to the only school in America that wins the chess championship every single year.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I wasn't on that team. No, but as you were saying, so 12%. So
Yeah, well, 12%.
6 years, 12% is 100% return.
That's kind of an interesting and handy term because you were saying internal rate of return or IRR or whatever. So like, yeah, if you can double someone's money in 6 years, then you have a 12% IRR. That's pretty good actually, because that's the stock market over the last 60 years rate of return. And for some things like real estate and venture and private equity, it's a little bit higher. I mean, when you look at the whole industry, it's like 17 or 18% to invest in real estate. But you have to invest in enough stuff and be really diversified. And then I guess, I don't know, maybe it's that easy. Maybe all you have to do is 100 deals. I'm not sure. But you can do better than...
So, I'm sorry.
No, hit.
What name is this? So, what name the wildest thing you've ever like invested in that you were like, why am I really doing this? That came back to be like, fuck, this was awesome.
Well, I guess about 10 years ago, I invested in a company that would let you buy lottery tickets on your phone.
Okay.
And it was like basically illegal because like you're not supposed to buy lottery tickets on your phone. You have to buy them from like the corner store, bodega. And this guy was like, it makes no sense. You shouldn't have to walk there. What we're going to do is when you buy a lottery ticket on the phone, we're going to send someone to like run over to the corner store, buy a lottery ticket, come back, and if you win, we'll give you the money. So they kind of hacked the law.
That's a lot of trust.
That's it, yeah.
Career, yeah.
I mean, I miss the days of like going to the, I mean, I can't even tell you last time I bought a lottery ticket. When I lived in Queens for almost 10 years, every time I went and got a coffee, I would bought $5, $6, $6 with lottery tickets, whatever. But like, I mean, I don't think there's...
When you're at the store, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy is like on your app when you're waiting at like the bus stop. You can like spend $3, buy 2 tickets, and they'll send someone running over there at the store. And now it's like 10 years later. I think 26 of the U.S. states have made it legal for them to do what they do. They're an officially they're like an official lottery, whatever.
So safe to say you made your money back plus.
And the company is valuable, yeah. I mean, it could be a public company soon, yeah.
In venture capital, I know 2022, I guess it was really more 2021, a big word was metaverse, and I mean crypto, obviously. How do you feel about it in 2023? Are you bullish?
Well, I think those things are totally done. Those two things are totally done.
Yeah. So you're buying low? You buying that?
No, I mean,
That's a buy side, yeah.
Is that a buy side indicator?
well, speaking about metaverse, now that we're talking about all the investors in the room, my friend Will here,
Big Will! Big Willie!
just spent the last year or so
In the metaverse.
trying to help one of the biggest brands in the world turn the metaverse into a big source of revenue.
Which one, Every Realm?
So I
Bigger
was,
brand, not everywhere.
I was with Time, so I ran their Web3 division.
Wow.
How'd that go? It was good. I mean, 21, 22, like it's almost like the late 90s kind of run up of the dot-com.
Well, tell them what you were monetizing.
And so basically we're just turning our NFT or our time covers into an NFT, right? So it's like there's no added real cost, right? But maybe just to kind of go back to your question, right? Like it's very polarizing, right? Like with FTX, right? Like total scam, right? Like, but I think the thing to